You're listening to the Rack and Focus podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Rack and Focus podcast. I'm Josiah Blizzard.
And I'm John Doyle. We just walked out of Knives Out, and this is our spoiler-free review of the new Rian Johnson film.
Knives Out is about a crime novelist, Harlan Thrombey, played by Christopher Plummer, who is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday. The inquisitive and debonair detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. First off, let's just start. Did you like the film? Did you not like the film?
So I liked it a lot.
Cool.
There was a period of time, maybe, 8 minutes in, where I was like, I'm not sure how I feel. And then I immediately turned that around and said, I see where we're going.
Yeah, I almost asked you what part was that, but that would spoil things. It's gonna be very hard not to spoil an entire movie of clues and twists and turns. I will say that this movie was everything I wanted it to be. There was a lot of twists and turns. There was a lot of unexpected things that happened. There were a few things that I expected that did happen.
Right. Okay.
Which wasn't a bad thing. It made me feel like I was in on the detective aspect of the entire film, which I always want to be in on a little bit whether you're reading a book or you're watching a movie, whatever it is.
Yep.
Very Agatha Christie to me.
I think so.
She would probably be very proud if this was one of her own writings, one of her books. This feels like something she would have written.
It certainly feels in the tradition of real murder mysteries.
Yes.
The classic murder mystery detectives. So
yeah,
absolutely.
As far as the technicality of the film as a whole, writing, acting, cinematography, production design, what do you think was the strongest aspect? What do you think was one of the weaker aspects?
That's a fascinating question. I think that the writing was over the top good.
Absolutely.
And with Rian Johnson getting solo writing and directing credit at the end, it's a really cleverly designed script that is both inclusive and full of really character-rich dialogue. So I thought across the board, the writing was really good. I think the second thing I would say is, I want to give big kudos to the actors, but I'm going to, just to counter that, say production design was so good. Yes,
that was what I was thinking. That entire house, head to toe, was set dressed to the max. Like, I feel like he would have said, like, most important things, sure, actors, we need those, but you need to make this house feel so rich, and not rich as far as wealth goes, but just so, like, deep. Like, there's things that we only saw in frame for probably a second, and I'm just like, where did they find this prop? It's incredible, and it speaks to Harlan as if he were a house. You know, he's existing in this boxy. They said in the beginning, like, he lives. He's for the theatrics, and he lives on a clue board essentially, right? Which is telling of the entire film. I actually watched Clue, the movie, the Tim Curry film, for the first time, like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Well, then it's right.
This was absolutely.
There was tons of stuff in that house, and we get it spotlighted really well.
Yeah.
Filmmakers taking their time, like Johnson's showing us pieces all through the movie. It's a movie where we're going to hear about every little detail of that, and some Easter egg piece.
I'm excited to watch any behind the scenes that comes out with this.
But it just looked beautiful. It was rich. It was attractive.
Any negatives to the film? What was maybe the weakest thing that you?
I think that there's a as I say, like 8-10 minutes in, there's a place where it feels like it's not going to go very far. Like we're seeing too much right up front.
Right.
And then you realize you're not. But maybe that, I don't know. It's a simply made film visually, and
you're reading my mind right now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. It's great. No.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's actually a great thing. Right. I think. What Rian does is that he doesn't rely on the cameras he's using or the lighting or he could tell this story on a 1080p camera that shoots to DV tape,
right?
And it would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what matters most is story, and he understands that story is king in everything. And so I think it was very simply shot. I don't think nothing stood out to me as far as like this was an incredible shot. That's beautiful framing. Nothing like that. I actually caught myself saying like, I don't really love the lighting right now, but I think that was totally okay. It wasn't that he wanted the film to be ugly, because it wasn't ugly. Things were motivated. Absolutely. There were a few shots in there that was like, that's a beautiful shot. But as a whole, it's definitely not going to be up for best cinematography. It's definitely not going to win any awards, I think, as far as cinematography
because it's not
goes.
making an effort, right?
Right.
The effort's being put into story
it's pushed
and
to story.
character.
Absolutely.
And the characters are clearly defined. And so even if we don't know all of their names because we saw the movie 4 minutes ago,
Right.
We can still identify each of them. We know what their characteristics are. We understand their relationships. And there isn't a thread of this film left unpulled.
No, it's true. Everything is wrapped up completely, and I'm very satisfied with how everything turned out in the end.
Yeah, well, and especially because there's some really interesting things about family said.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's well, I'll save that for later. There's some interesting things said about family and the parent-child relationship.
Right.
And we see some bits at the end of the film that really are satisfying in that way.
Yeah.
That say, he knows these characters and he cares about
Absolutely.
them and they care about each other.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's give our rating real quick. Would you suggest seeing this in theaters, waiting till it hits streaming, or avoid it at all costs?
I don't think anyone's going to be hurt by waiting for this film, but I don't think you should.
Yeah.
So it's a movie that you should go in the theater and see. This is the kind of filmmaking we need to support. Too few people are making films that are like popular, full of good actors, but like high-profile actors,
right,
and full of good writing. And we don't want that to be relegated to Netflix. I mean, I think that's in the end what my concern is. So it's such a good and enjoyable film. This is a film you take your significant other, you take your kid to. Maybe not your under 18 or under 13 kid, whatever, but you take your daughter, son to, like it's a good movie for us to see together.
Yeah.
Like it really does fit that bill.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Definitely go see it in theaters. There's no reason not to see this in theaters.
Sound was great.
Sound was wonderful. Sound actually played a pretty decent role in this film, but yeah, I mean, go see it in theaters. It's great. I loved it.
And if you like mysteries, like Detective, it's like at the top of its game.
Yeah.
So if you like this kind of storytelling, you're going to love the journey that this takes you on because it's full of twists and turns. And you talked in the beginning about it, like flipping your expectations, and it does over and over. and over
multiple times. It's just completely turning things on its head again and again. So yeah, go see this in theaters. If you don't want to go to the movies and spend $13, $14, which it's worth it. But if you don't want to do that, wait till it comes out. Definitely see it though, because it is a really great, whether it's for a date night at home, date night out, or just you're watching it by yourself, you're gonna like it, I think. So
yeah, and I'm gonna say that you should definitely tune into our spoiler-filled review, if just because we're gonna get to talk about stuff we're literally like biting our tongues about right now, including issues of politics that are littered throughout the story and issues of individual character motivations and filmmaking, storytelling that's just worth review. So after you've seen it, make sure you stop back and visit us on our spoiler-filled.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching and listening to the Racking Focus podcast, spoiler-free edition. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, anywhere else. Are we anywhere else online?
We're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook, sure. That's true.
But more importantly, you can find us at rackingfocuspodcast.com.
That's true.
Where you can then find all the rest of the connections to the other things that we just talked about.
Yep. And please leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes or anywhere else that you're listening to the podcast. Please 5 stars. If you want to hate on us in the comments, totally okay. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what we're doing right. But that 5 stars would be very, very helpful.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. We hope you tune into the spoiler field once you've seen it. Don't if you haven't.
Yeah, don't.
And we'll see you next time on the Racking Focus podcast.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Racking Focus podcast.